Hi, my name is Sebastian, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the yFiles MCP server with Cline in Visual Studio Code. The yFiles MCP server tools enable the IDE and the software agent to look up documentation and API information, so it can work with yFiles more efficiently, so without any guesswork or hallucinations. So let's dive in. For this, I'm using the yFiles dev suite, which I started using npx yFiles-dev-suite at latest, which resulted in this application running in my browser. And right on the front page, there's an instruction on how to start the yFiles MCP server. So it's important that you have an active yFiles for HTML evaluation license running, which is active because that is required for the agent to work. So let's check out. In order to start this, we need to tell our IDE or our LLM how to use the tools provided by the MCP server. We tested the tools with many different applications, and in this demo I'm going to show you how to configure Cline in Visual Studio Code. So we're starting with an empty instance of Cline, so there's no project here of Visual Studio Code, and there's the Cline plugin installed. And at first I can ask it to install the server for it. Cline allows me to actually automatically do the installation steps for me. So I'm going to ask it to add the MCP server, and it will go and do all the setups for me, which basically consist in making the right entries into the MCP server's file. This typically works right out of the box. So this tells the client to launch the tools using the npx command, which is npx -y for yes, yFiles -dev-suite MCP. And we can see that the tools are running, and clicking on this we see that there's multiple tools the agent has now in its tool belt. And now let's go back to the documentation and ask it to scaffold our first application, create a vanilla TypeScript project with yFiles and Vite. So we're going back, start a new task, and ask it to perform the required steps. So it will run npm init and will install Vite TypeScript. And then it will use one of the tools that we just installed to actually get the instructions into the context and help client better work with yFiles for HTML. So it now modified package.json. It will load yFiles automatically from a directory where the license files and the dev file have been copied to by the tool. And now I can just run the command, and this installs yFiles. It will now set up tsconfig properly so that I have a nice code completion working in my application. So this is scaffolding Vite, some default settings. Creating a sample source file. And this is the bare minimum setup for a yFiles setup. it will now check out the documentation and create a simple yFiles setup code. Also add the index.html file, add the run configuration to the package.json to launch Vite, and then allows me to run the application. Now let's check out what it created for us. Here's an application running yFiles for HTML with a simple graph. And this is, let's see what it created for us. So here's the code. It creates some nodes, creates some edges, configures editing, and logs a success message to the console. And this is all live. Now if I change this and move the node a few thousand pixels to the right, it will automatically be moved over there. So this is live and running.
So that's how you use Cline and the MCP tools in Visual Studio Code with yFiles for HTML. Let me know what you create with yFiles.